Hey everyone, it's Pam, and today I'm doing another eyeshadow tutorial, doing a look with a palette that I already have, and today I will be using the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette to give this look that I currently have on. If you want to see how I did it, stay tuned. So I'm going to start with my face makeup. I'm actually going to be using a product that I just got recently. Since I am going sort of more of a brown natural look, I am going to go more natural on the rest of the makeup as well. So I will be using this Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. I was really looking for something like a BB cream or tinted moisturizer that also had SPF in it. This has SPF 30. So I picked this up just last week. It is in the shade Buttercream 03. I've used it a few times already and I really like the texture of it. I use about this much. It's a gel texture, which I like since I have been having some issues with the more lotiony textures, and it recommends you just put this on with your fingers, which is what I like to do anyway. So it goes on very nice. Since it's a gel cream, it does feel a little bit cooling, and it looks nice. It looks very natural. When I first put it on, I just put it on half of my face, and I almost couldn't really tell a difference between the half without makeup and the half that had this. Although once it's all in and blended, I do notice I'm a little more glowy than I am normally. So I like that. Okay, so we've got that on now. Now I'm just going to put on a little bit of concealer. I will be using the Glossier Stretch Concealer. Again, this is in G11. And I will be mostly focusing on under my eyes for this, as well as a little on my nose. I feel like I've got a little redness just on the tip of my nose. So I'm going to go in with just my ring finger and just dot it under my eyes a little bit. And then dot it on my nose. And then just blend it in. And I'm just sort of patting it into the skin. I had already put on an under eye moisturizing cream before this, which is something I have started doing all the time now just to prevent creasing, or to try to prevent creasing. And then just blend it in around my nose. And I'm just going to take my Beauty Blender, which is already damp, and just, especially on the nose, just sort of pat that in so that it's not too heavy. And under the eye as well. Okay, and now I'm also going to be doing my brows, obviously. I'm going to try something new. We'll see how this goes on camera. This is the Marcelle eyebrow liner, or Nano eyebrow liner in dark brown. This is one of those little tiny brow pencils here. I do find these look more natural than the powder that I usually use. So I'm just going to do this and hope it goes well. So once I've got the brow all filled in, then I just go in with the little spoolie at the end just to brush through, make sure the product is spread out, that there's no little clumps or anything like that, and then just go back in to sort of do a final little fill in of anything I might have missed. I think I'm going to do the other one just off camera to save some time. Alright, so now both eyebrows are done, and I'm just going to zoom in a little so that we can do the eyes. Alright, to start with, I am going to take this lighter brown shade here, which is called Deserted, on a large shader brush, and just sweep it over the lid. You know, I always used to think it was totally unnecessary for eyeshadow palettes to have mirrors in them. And it's just when I started doing videos that I finally started to appreciate the mirrors. Alright, so that's a very nice color. There's a fair bit of like kickback in the pan. I don't know if you can see that when I dip into it. So it's a fairly soft shadow, but it goes on really well. Now I'm going to take a large fluffy blending brush and I'm going to go in with the middle shade here. It's sort of a pinky brown. It's called Outdoorsy. And I'm going to go in this all in... Oh wow, there's so much kickback. Gonna go all in the crease. Oh, nice pigment too. Go fairly high up into the crease, sort of towards the brow bone here. These are so powdery. You see this? This is a really pretty color though. Although, I feel like I'm always doing pink looks. I was trying to go for a brown one today and it's just sneaking in the pink here. I don't need too much of this at all. It's very pigmented and beautiful. Tap off quite a lot of the product. Again, just back and forth in sort of windshield wiper motions, maybe some little circles in there. So now I'm going to go in with a much smaller tapered blending brush and I'm going to go in with this reddish shade, which is called Cherry Wood. And I'm just going to go sort of straight in the crease with that. So not as high up as the first lighter color, just like right in the socket. These are so powdery, but they blend really well. That's very pretty. I like this. I think this is also going to be the first look I've done on this channel that doesn't have any shimmer in it. These are all mattes. Stamp a little extra product into the very corner here, and then blend it out again. And now we're just going to really deepen out the outer corner. I'm going to try this little teeny tiny brush and go in with the darkest color, Rock Bottom. I'll really tap that off because there's very dark. I feel like this is going to be super pigmented. So I'm just going in like right at the outer corner, pushing it up into the crease here. I don't want this to be like super dark, just a little bit darker. And then I'm going to go back in with the small blending brush that I used on the reddish shade and just blend that in. Now for under the eye, I'm going to take the shade we have on our lid, Deserted, on just a sort of smudger, maybe shader brush. It's a little short bristled brush. I'm going to tap it in there. Oh geez, there's so much product. And just go under the eye. Not being too precise about this. Just sort of spreading it on. I'm not putting on the redder shades under my eye, just so that I don't look, you know, like I'm sick or been crying or something. Rather go for the more neutrally shades than the super warm ones. And then now that we're done that, we're going to go in again with this little tiny pointy one that came with it and the darkest shade, Rock Bottom. And just go sort of on the like outer third or so. Very, very close to the lash line. Kind of smoke it out. I think I went more than just the outer third. I went kind of halfway. Just putting a little more on that corner. And blend again. That brush has fallen on the floor, so I guess I'm done with it now. So the last step in the shadow, just going in with the color we've got on our lid, the Deserted again, just putting a little, can you see this, how much comes off? I feel like I'm wasting a lot of this. Just going back in on the lid, just making sure everything's all covered nicely there. And then I'm going to go in, since I want to use all the colors in the palette, with this lightest shade called Tea Light, and I'm going in with just a different flat shader brush. Oh my goodness. And I'm going in on just right under the brow bone with that light color here. And then just a tiny bit in the inner corner of my eye. Going to do a tiny bit of cleanup. I find because of the shape of my eye, which is quite round but also slightly downturned, it's very easy to get the eyeshadow sort of lower down than I actually want it to be. So I'm just taking a cotton pad with a little bit of micellar water on it and just cleaning up the edge there. Just sort of don't want it to go below sort of the line between the outer corner of my eye and my the end of my eyebrow. Alright, so I think that is good for the eyes. We're just going to finish off a last few steps for the face. So I want to put on a little bit of bronzer today just because to sort of go along with this sort of warm brown look. I'm taking this Ciate London bronzer. This is in Bamboo Bronzer in Palm Island, so it's a fairly cool one. And I'm taking a brush that, it's actually called a Precision Foundation brush, but whatever. So I'm just putting this sort of like up in my hairline here. I forgot about using a proper mirror. Here we go. There we go, that's better. Yeah, so just dipping this in, going in the hairline and sort of through the temples. Just warming up my face a little bit. Also just a tiny bit under the cheekbone, not going too far, like towards my mouth or anything, keeping it there. I also find I'm like super pale right in front of my ear. I guess my hair is just usually in the way so no sun gets there. So I try to fill that in a little bit as well. And now for blush. I want to go something, I don't want to go too brown with the blush because I don't want it to be too monochrome. So I'm going to go with this BeneTint, which is a sort of liquid stain. You can use this on your lips or on your cheeks. I quite like this. It's fairly subtle looking, but I just like paint an X on each cheek. And then I just blend it in with my fingertips, and it just gives sort of like a nice, rosy, very natural looking glow. I find this much more natural than most powder blushes. It looks like I've, you know, had a glass of wine or something rather than I've put on a bunch of makeup. So that just is really super easy to apply and gives just a really pretty flush that I like. And then for lips, also going to go more on the neutral side. First I'm going in with this NYX lip liner in the color Nude Beige. And I'm just going to sort of define the outer... Sorry, it's very hard to do this and talk at the same time. That's probably not the best idea. Actually, I've put on some chapstick just before I started filming this video, and this lip liner doesn't particularly want to stick. I'm going to go in with this gloss by Iconic London, which unfortunately doesn't have a color on it, which I don't know why they wouldn't print the color on the actual product, but it's a sort of neutral pinky brown color, and it's quite glossy, so I'm just going to go on with this. It also has one of the softest doe foots I've ever used. And it's minty. So there we go, nice and shiny. Since I have no shimmer on my eye, I figured I needed a little bit of shine somewhere. See this doe foot, how like bendy it is? It's not too bad though, since this is such a light color. It's not like you need to be super precise when you're putting it on. And looking at myself, I realize I have not put on mascara. So that's going to be the last thing. I know I'm mostly trying to go for more natural look, but I want bigger eyelashes today. So I'm going in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I've had this for a little bit, but I just opened it, so hopefully I've just started my 6 month of use of this. I wasn't sure that I was gonna like this. I've heard all good things, but most people like much more bigger sort of spidery lashes than I do. But I actually ended up quite enjoying this. It makes my lashes quite thick, but still has a good amount of separation. You get to see my crazy eyes while I put on my mascara, so that's nice for everyone. Oh, of course, I did that. Okay, it's fine. Everything is fine. Alright, I think I'm just going to do the top lash and not do the bottom. I feel like I will be tempting fate and making a mess if I put lashes on, or put mascara on the bottom lashes. So that is it for this look. I'm pretty happy. As far as this Dose of Colors Baked Browns goes, I do really like it. The shadows blend very, very nicely. They're very pigmented. Even like this little, you know, sort of more on the pale side pink has a ton of color payoff. You don't need much product. However, as soon as you dip your brush in there, it's just like a powder explosion. So I do feel like you are wasting quite a bit of product just because of how much kickback there is in it, but it is a very pretty palette, and I'm really happy with how the eyeshadow came out and overall with this look. And yeah, that's it for this eye look with the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette. If you have any requests for palettes you'd like me to use or any types of videos you want to see in the future, please leave me a comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.